Guys, today we are fishing a very secret quarry. Now we've done our research and this place supposedly holds some perch in it. A few small ones, but apparently there's some big ones in here. So what we're going to be doing is using small paddle tails and small creature baits to be targeting these fish, and hopefully we can get a really good one. Let's go see how we do. And we're just going to see, like I said, so I've got a paddle tail on. I'm fishing it fairly quick because it's a new venue. I know it's a bit of fun, it's a new quarry. We're excited to see if there's anything in here. Now usually with it, oh, there we go, and we're on, just like that. Awesome. Straight away, first cast in the new venue. Oh, he's popped off. That's all right. There's fish here, and that's the important thing, so let's go get one. This is a really cool place. I'm over the moon. Cool little venue. There's fish here, they're biting. First cast had a fish. When you have a paddle tail on, when you're in the rivers, often that drop is a great way to get the perch. But when I'm fishing in a still venue, what I like to do, oh, I just got a hit there. What I like to do is straight retrieve. Not rapidly. I'm not really like super quickly retrieving that paddle tail, but at the same time, you know, as you can see here, it's just kind of a steady retrieve and just trying to see where those fish are, but also giving the fish less time to take that lure, because when fish are on a still venue, they see things a lot slower. They don't have to be rushed into chasing bait as much as, say, a river fish would. So keeping that sort of slow, consistent, straight retrieve will work for perch, despite, you know, the typical up down movement that perch work. Now, of course, you do want to incorporate that as well, which again, it's all about figuring out what's working, what's not working. All right, there we go, guys. So we finally hooked into one again. It was like third or fourth cast. And they are very small fish, but it's a perch nonetheless. I mean, that check it out. Don't get much smaller. There we go, guys. Look at that. So yeah, guys, just you know, there you go. Tiny little perch to get him back. So there we have it. I think that there's going to be a load of those caught today. It seems like there's just tons of these little guys around. Bit of rain coming down now, but we're going to press on and see if we can keep catching them. And I really wonder if we'll get a big one. That'd be quite cool. And I tell you what, the pike fishing has been tricky, guys, but I have been catching big bass, as you guys know, my loyal followers. Guys, something that's very important to remember, and you know, even experienced anglers will do this. When we get confident using one type of lure that we know is always going to catch, it's very easy to just continue using that lure, even if it's not working, but that's just because we're human. Always remember that chopping and changing up your lures is just as big a part as catching the fish itself. You do need to be putting on new lures, trying out new things in order to see what's working for the fish. So don't be afraid to do that. So yeah, without further ado, take it away, folks. All right, guys, so let's go see if we can catch some now. Another little perch. Look, they're all little guys, but there are supposed to be, there's rumor of some 2-pound perch being caught out here, and I can believe that. There we have it. There we go. And yeah, so what I was doing there is there's this wall, and when you're fishing any sort of structure with perch, there's this wall along here, and it's great. The perch love structure, man-made structure, natural structure. They will be tucked up right against the wall, or they'll be tucked up underneath a you know, a sunken tree. And I was literally just swinging this, my little minnow along this wall, and sure enough, I'm getting hits. So let's see if we can catch some more. I'm not even reeling in, right? There we go. Oh, that was a good hit. That was okay. Oh, on the drop. How cool is that? Fish on the drop. As the lure hit the water. There we go, another little guy. So they are, so far, all this sort of little size, but you know what? You can't beat good old-fashioned perch fishing. Even if they're just tiny like this, it's so much fun. You get some light tackle and you just chuck them in there, and they're actually in great condition. The color of their eyes and everything, very, very, very cool. Now, if there were any pike in here, these are pike food. So, it'd be cool if there were pike in here. We'll find out, I guess. It's tiny. Tiny, 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 tiny.
That's what she said.
So we seem to have found the fish, right, guys? And that's a really big part of any sort of venue fishing. So we were in a really good spot there, just a second ago, we were in a spot there where it was shallower and we were getting a few hits, but I was casting into some deeper area, and that's where we were getting the hits. And now all along this wall behind me, it just seems to be perch heaven. Tons of perch, so yeah, let's keep going and get some more. Right guys, so as you can see, we were catching loads of perch there. There are absolutely tons of perch in these cool little quarries and these little ponds. It's so cool that we found a place like this. It is just absolutely packed with fish. Now, I'm gonna run you through the setup that I have been using to catch these fish. The rod here I have is the Weston Street Stick. Now it is 5 to 15 gram casting weight. As you can see, it performs absolutely fine, but what I would recommend is a lighter rod. Maybe something even in the ultralight nano area, 0.5 up to 7 gram. Even 7 gram could be pushing it, but ultralight rods are perfect for these sort of areas. This does perform fine and obviously has a lovely, lovely backbone. So you're not really losing any fish, which is great. We're keeping it to a minimum, but I think you would have a lot more fun, to be honest, using a really, really light rod. And I know that Temu actually sell loads of little rods, and it's something we're thinking about doing. So stay tuned for a Temu type video. The reel I have got paired with that is a Penn 1000 reel. It's an absolutely great reel. This would be a fine size for what we're doing. It is actually a little bit smaller maybe for the rod, but it works absolutely fine. You know, if I want to get down into the nitty gritty, I'd probably size up maybe a 1500 for this rod, but for what we're doing, it's working perfectly and we're having a great time. That has got a really, really light braid on it there. I've got I'd say it's about a 6 or 7 pound braid, but you could even go lighter. Like I said, the type of fish that we're catching here are tiny, so it's no problem at all. We're talking little lures, right? We've got the Crazy Fish range here, the Crazy Fish Nano range, which is absolutely insane for fishing, especially when you're doing, you know, micro drop shotting or micro fishing. Right here in front of me, I've got the Nano Minnow 1.6, and that is in a kind of a purple color. And what's lovely about these lures is they are scented, and it really does help the bite. At least I believe that it would help the bite. You know, they're scented with squid or fish, something like that, and I think that extra scent just does help attract the fish to hit a bite. They're a lovely little paddle tail, and you really don't have to do much with them. I always like to jig them really softly and just give a little bit of extra vibration, especially in areas like this where the water is pretty murky. We've got about 1 foot to 2 foot visibility. These are brilliant, and that scent also is helping a lot in that visibility. On the right hand side here, I have the Active Slug. This is a 2-inch soft plastic, and it's I guess shaped like a slug or a little creature. Great as well, a little bit bigger, and actually haven't had as much success on this in this venue, but this is an absolutely savage little soft plastic that will, especially on bigger rivers, you'll catch loads of perch and the odd pike on these. Great as well. These are in a sort of orange glitter color, and these are squid scented. So they're wonderful, wonderful lures. I'm pairing that up obviously with a 2 gram to 3 gram jig head. I think 2 gram really helps, 2 or 3 gram really helps in these shallower venues, get it down a little bit quicker. But using a lighter, even 1 gram or 0.5 gram, which you can find online, those are great as well. You know, with perch fishing, the drop is a real key thing. I know I mentioned earlier on the video that when you're fishing a still water venue, you don't have to be fishing so slowly, but that drop is perfect, and it really, really does help. They're relatively cheap, which is so handy, especially when you're starting out fishing or your budget is low. Check these out. I would not give these a miss. All right guys, so the next soft plastic I have here is the Fox Rage UV Critters. These are wonderful little perch lures. A little bit larger for what we're doing at the moment, but absolutely killer. They're just under 2 inches, they're 5 centimeters. Now what is great about these lures is they are UV, so what that means is they're ultraviolet. When they are in darker waters, they shine that little extra, and it really does help the kick on the lure, and it really does help the take, I believe, at least with perch. Perch are very visual hunters, so they're not like pike where they have a lateral line and they're feeling vibration. They're not so much like zander that feed at night and have like reflective eyes. Perch need to see the lure in order to feed, and that's why they're really good at feeding in they're diurnal predators, so they feed sort of in just dusk or dawn times mainly. It doesn't mean you can't catch them whenever. As we know, they're very aggressive fish, and it really does help. What can I say about them? They've got little vibration pins all around them, and that really helps with that movement in the water. Fox Rage have done an absolutely stunning job, and I know that their critter range, their micro range is really, really good. So shout out to Fox Rage for producing some awesome lures. These will catch you perch. Next guys, I have got the Weston Shad T Slim, and this is a 5 centimeter or 2 inch little paddle tail. These are absolute perch killers. They're phenomenal, and if you haven't seen a recent reel, I caught a really cracking perch on one of these in a white color. Now, I have to break down these lures properly because Weston have done a fabulous job. The action on these lures is incredible, and they mimic little minnows swimming around these little ponds and these little quarries really, really well. They do have some sort of neon colors, so you can see there's a green neon there, but they have a great natural selection range as well. I find white is an absolute killer for perch, but also natural colors as well. When you're fishing murky waters, it's a common misconception that you put on a brighter lure because you think that that will help them see the lure more. But often in darker waters, using a darker color is a much better idea. And that is because the silhouette is much more present when you're using a darker lure. The action on them is stunning. I paired that up with about a 2 gram to 3 gram jig head, and you can bounce that along. You can even just straight retrieve it very slowly, and that's what we were doing in the quarry earlier. And as you can see, we were just smashing those fish up. All right, guys, so that brings us to our top water fishing. You can top water fish for perch, and it is just so much fun. You'll know if you watch the channel that I'm an absolute massive advocate for top water fishing, purely because it's just great fun. Not always the best way to catch fish. Obviously these fish are opportunistic, and they will feed, you know, they'll hunt out fish, but seldomly they will hit the top when bait are scattering and fry or jumping around, leaping around. Here in front of me I have the Savage Gear 3D minnow popper, and it is a great little lure. It's 4 gram, and its presentation is really, really great. It's got a nice fat body, a white underbelly, and it's just a beautiful lure. Savage Gear have outdone themselves. The action on it is great, just little twitches. If you retrieve it like you would a walk the dog style lure, it does walk side to side, and that is wonderful to see. That being said as well, if you straight pop it, it has a great surface face for that pop at the very front of the lure, and it really kicks up a stir. It's also got a built-in rattle. You can hear there, I think. And that is really, really, really good, you know, for just catching the attention of the fish. So you chuck that on, low water, like low water level. Clearer water usually works better, and you'll find that if they're a perch around and they're feeling the mood and it's overcast like it is right now, you're gonna catch some perch on that. Let's talk about jerkbaits. I have a jerkbait here in front of me. It's a lovely little nano jerkbait. I forget the exact name. If you guys know the name of this lure, please let me know in the comments. I forgot what it was, but it's a really great perch catcher. You can catch perch on jerkbaits, and they are wonderful, wonderful lures for perch. What's great about them is they kick up a lot of stir in the water, and they really do add they displace a lot of water, which is the wonderful thing about them. When you're casting for perch, especially when you don't know where the fish are, a search bait is kind of vital, and I find that jerkbaits are a really good place to start. They travel a good mile, and you can really work them quite quickly and see what you're going to find. This one here, again, I forget the name, but it's a wonderful little thing. 2 small micro trebles on it, beautiful minnow color. Jerkbaits rely more on an aggressive strike, I believe, than an actual feeding strike. Feeding strikes you will get on maybe a slower presentation, but guys, wonderful little thing, and jerkbaits are a must-have on these little menus. All right, guys, let's see if we can catch some more perch. Guys, you won't believe what we've just found. So we were walking past the quarry, and down into the side here, I started hearing water droplets. So we walked down just off the side of the quarry, and sure enough, there's this little pond. Now it probably goes about 50 meters down that way, but it's very narrow. But there are fish rising in here already. We just came to check it out, and I can see fish feeding. So I'm sure there's going to be perch in here as well. Any big ones in here? Probably not, but you never know. Let's see if we can catch them. We'll see if anything happens. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Got a tug there. Oh yeah, fish. Oh, it's a nice perch. It's not a bad perch. It's not huge, but that is the biggest of the day. That's so cool. That was right at my feet. That's an all right perch, guys. It's not huge by any means whatsoever at all, but that is the biggest perch of the day, and I'm pretty stoked with that out of this tiny little pond. Check it out, you guys. So yeah, awesome. Just on that Weston Savage Gear, and you can see that sort of stuff pays off. I like literally just chucked first cast. I got a hit. I was like, no ways, but there we go. Nothing huge, nothing crazy, nothing to write home about, but it's quite an awesome little thing. So let's get him back. So that was right here at my feet, and I cast out there, but I see this overhang here, load of weeds, and I reckon there's probably perch. Maybe that's where he came out from. So let's see. I can still see some roach cruising off the top, which is really cool. All right, so we've just come to a different part of the same lake. Couldn't really cast there, but we found an opening here. It's pretty cool. There's just a little chuck around there. It seems like they're sitting up on the bank. There must be a shelf here. And that's another thing when you're looking, or you know, any sort of smaller lakes, these sort of shelves where it gets a bit deeper, that's where a lot of these perch are going to be sitting. but I'm getting a lot of knocks. Oh man, I don't know if, oh yeah, oh, they're small, they're really small fish, but they're right here. There we go. And we got one, finally. Look at that. That's what we were, that was coming after us. Look at that. Guys, that's what we're talking about. Bait almost the same size as him. Tiny little fish. It's just so much fun though. I mean, it doesn't get much more fun than a tiny little perch like that. Won't even, I mean, look at him. Beautiful condition though. These fish are in really good condition. But yeah, let's get him back. There we go. There we go. Look at that. So guys, I just sized down to a much smaller little bait, little creature bait, and pays dividends because compared to the quarry fish, look, the quarry fish were small, but these ones are even smaller. So very important to note that when you're using something that's a bit big, yeah, so just switch up, you know, use a little creature bait instead of a bigger shad maybe, and yeah, it'll work. Look, they're not huge fish, but sometimes it's okay to chase the small ones. Sometimes it's okay to come out and just enjoy it, you know? When you're having a good time catching these smaller fish, why not? You know, we kind of all grew up doing this sort of fishing. Sort of smaller fishing is a great way to start and practice. Yeah, there's another one. They're all sitting on this shelf right here below our feet. Tiny little one. That is the smallest fish of the day, no doubt in my mind. Absolutely tiny perch, but in such good condition. Such beautiful little fish. Over the moon with that. Oh man, that is just, there's like a whole pocket of fish down there. They're tiny fish, but what fun. Like if you had a really light setup, you come out here and just have the best time. Okay guys, as much as I would absolutely love to stay here and keep fishing, unfortunately life gets in the way, so we do have to crack on and head home. But what a day it has been, and obviously as you can see, this quarry holds a load of fish. Unfortunately no monsters today, a couple of decent little perch, but we're looking for a giant, and I'd say we'll definitely be back here trying to catch one of those giants. Guys, if you want to know where I get my equipment, lures and tackle from, please check out wildhunter.ie. They have great deals and great offers. That's where I get all my stuff. It's a brand I trust. That's going to be it from us this week. Make sure to subscribe, and if you haven't hit that bell notification button, please hit that so you keep updated for all our recent videos. We'll see you next week.